Silence, all stand and remain standing until the conclusion of the reading of the proclamation. Ladies and gentlemen, the proclamation, all persons having any business before this honorable court, now draw nigh, give your attendance, and you shall be heard. God save the Queen.
Thank you.
Please be seated. Admission of lawyers. Christopher Ian Chanel Aguilar.
May it please the court, I move that Christopher Ian Chanel Aguilar be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Christopher Ian Chanel Aguilar be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Indy Angel Auld.
May it please the court, I move that Indy Angel Auld be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Indy Angel Auld be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Alex Stephen Bainbridge.
May it please the court, I move that Alex Stephen Bainbridge be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Alex Stephen Bainbridge be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Asim Kasim Bharti.
May it please the court, I move that Asim Kasim Bharti be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Asim Kasim Bharti be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Justine Jinder Borbas.
May it please the court, I move that Justine Jinder Borbas be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Justine Jinder Borbas be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Colleen Barbara Cham.
May it please the court, I move that Colleen Barbara Cham be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Colleen Barbara Cham be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Cassia Vixie Chan.
May it please the court, I move that Cassia Vixie Chan be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Cassia Vichy Chan be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Jayesh Kusal Chan.
May it please the court, I move that Jayesh Kusal Chand be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Jayesh Kusal Chand be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Harry James Chapman.
May it please the court, I move that Harry James Chapman be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Harry James Chapman be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Edward Lloyd Thomas Conroy.
May it please the court, I move that Edward Lloyd Thomas Conroy be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Edward Lloyd Thomas Conroy be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Peter William Dawson.
May it please the court, I move that Peter William Dawson be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Peter William Dawson be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Maximilian Melchior Carl Marie de Roo.
May it please the court, I move that Maximilian Melchior Carl Marie de Rode be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Maximilian Melchior Carl Marie de Rode be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Thomas Darcy Dickinson.
May it please the court, I move that Thomas Darcy Dickinson be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Thomas Darcy Dickinson be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Rose Frances Donnelly.
May it please the court, I move that Rose Frances Donnelly be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Rose Frances Donnelly be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Seetha Eastwarren.
May it please the court, I move that Seetha Iswaran be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Seetha Eastwarren be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Rochelle Jamie Lee Farmy.
May it please the court, I move that my wife, Rochelle Jamie Lee Farmy, be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Rochelle Jamie Lee Farmy be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Carly J. Gilbert.
May it please the court, I move that Carly J. Gilbert be admitted
Let Carly J. Gilbert be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Sonia Jessica Haddad.
May it please the court, I move that Sonia Jessica Haddad be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Sonia Jessica Haddad be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Jennifer Joan Hilliard.
May it please the court, I move that Jennifer Joan Hillier be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Jennifer Joan Hillier be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Art Honeysett.
May it please the court, I move that Art Honeysett be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Art Honeysett be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Madeline Huber.
May it please the court, I move that Madeline Huber be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Madeline Huber be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Lara Elizabeth Illich.
May it please the court, I move that Lara Elizabeth Illich be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Lara Elizabeth Illich be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Hyun Sil Im.
May it please the court, I move that Hyun Sil Im be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Hyun Sil Im be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Julian Allen Kessoff.
May it please the court, I move that Julian Allen Kessoff be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Julian Allen Kessoff be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Mark Kedelarian.
May it please the court, I move that Mark Kedelarian be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Mark Kedelarian be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Eugene Manhope Kwan.
May it please the court, I move that Eugene Manho Kwan be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Eugene Manho Kwan be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Yasmin Nazli Ruby Lewis.
May it please the court, I move that Yasmin Nazli Ruby Lewis be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Yasmin Nazli Ruby Lewis be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Alexandra Isabella Liu.
May it please the court, I move that Alexandra Isabella Liu be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Alexandra Isabella Liu be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Kirsty Ann McKinnon.
May it please the court, I move that Kirsty Ann McKinnon be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Kirsty Ann McKinnon be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Cameron James McLeod.
May it please the court, I move that Cameron James McLeod be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Cameron James McLeod be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Alessandro Giuseppe Malara.
May it please the court, I move that Alessandro Giuseppe Mallara be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Alessandro Giuseppe Malara be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Georgia McHale.
May it please the court, I move that Georgia McHale be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Georgia McHale be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Patrice Taylor Mountney.
May it please the court, I move that Patrice Taylor Mountney be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Patrice Taylor Mountney be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Sarah Harver Pacey.
May it please the court, I move that Sarah Harver Pacey be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Sarah Howard Pacey be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Georgia Rabello Felly.
May it please the court, I move that Georgia Rabello Felly be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Georgia Rabello Felly be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Sarah Jane Rolston.
May it please the court, I move that Sarah Jane Rolston be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Sarah Jane Ralston be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Isabel Chelsea Roach.
May it please the court, I move that Isabel Chelsea Roach be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Isabel Chelsea Roach be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Mariana Isabella Saker.
May it please the court, I move that Mariana Isabella Saker, my daughter, be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Mariana Isabella Saker be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Bernard Chunlung Sia.
May it please the court, I move that Bernard Chunlong Sia be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Bernard Chunlung Sia be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Phoebe Kathleen Skews.
May it please the court, I move that Phoebe Kathleen Scoos be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Phoebe Kathleen Scoos be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Jack Uki Stacey.
May it please the court, I move that Jack Yuki Stacey be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Jack Uki Stacey be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Fayette Juanita Juyon Vermeer.
May it please the court, I move that Fayette Juanita Juyon Vermeer be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Fayette Juanita Jiyong Vermeer be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Paige Louise Wallace.
May it please the court, I move that Paige Louise Wallace be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Paige Louise Wallace be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
G. U.
May it please the court, I move that GU be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let GU be admitted as a lawyer of this court. It will now be necessary for those applicants whose admission has been moved to stand and remain standing for the purpose of swearing an oath or making a declaration or affirmation. Please follow Mr. Banks's directions.
Can I have the first two rows on my right standing, please? Christopher Ian Chanel Aguilar, Indy Angel All, Alex Stephen Bainbridge, Arsun Kasim Bhati, Justine Jinder Borbas, Colleen Barbara Chan, Kasia Vixie Chan, Jayesh Kusal Chan, Harry James Chapman, Edward Lloyd Thomas Conroy, Peter William Dawson, Maximilian Melchior Carl Marie de Rode, Thomas Darcy Dickinson, Rose Frances Donnelly, Seetha Iswaran, Rochelle Jamie Lee Farm. Do you severally swear or declare and affirm that you will truly and honestly conduct yourselves in the practice of the lawyer of the Supreme Court of New South Wales, and that you will faithfully serve as such in the administration of the laws and usages of this state according to the best of your knowledge, skill, and ability? Please say together either, so help me God, or I do.
I do.
Thank you. Please have a seat. Can I have the third and fourth rows standing, please? Carly J. Gilbert, Sonia Jessica Haddad, Jennifer Joan Hilliard, Art Honeysett, Madeline Huber, Lara Elizabeth Illich, Hyunsil Im, Julian Allen Kessoff, Mark Ketelarian, Eugene Manho Kwan, Yasmin Nazli Ruby Lewis, Alexandra Isabella Liu, Kirsty Ann McKinnon, Cameron James McLeod, Alessandro Giuseppe Malara, Georgia McHale, Patrice Taylor Mountain, Sarah Harver Pacey, Georgia Rebello Felly, Sarah Jane Ralston, Isabel Chelsea Roach. Do you severally swear or declare and affirm that you will truly and honestly conduct yourselves in the practice of a lawyer of the Supreme Court of New South Wales, and that you will faithfully serve as such in the administration of the laws and usages of this state according to the best of your knowledge, skill, and ability? Please say together either, so help me God, or I do. Thank you. Please be seated. Can I have the first and second row on my left standing, please? Mariana Isabella Saker, Bernard Chonlong Sia, Phoebe Kathleen Scoos, Jack Uki Stacey, Fayette Juanita Juyang Vermeer, Paige Louise Wallace, G. U. Do you severally swear or declare and affirm that you will truly and honestly conduct yourselves in the practice of a lawyer of the Supreme Court of New South Wales, and that you will faithfully serve as such in the administration of the laws and usages of this state according to the best of your knowledge, skill, and ability? Please say together either, so help me God, or I do. Thank you. Please be seated.
May I warmly welcome you all to the Supreme Court of New South Wales. Present with me on the bench today to my right is Justice Mitchellmore, a member of the New South Wales Court of Appeal, and to my left, Justice Stevenson, a senior member of the Equity Division of the Supreme Court. Together, we constitute the court that has, in the exercise of its jurisdiction, admitted you to practice this afternoon. We have done so in the Banco court, which stands on the land for which the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation have cared and been custodians for thousands of years. The court pays its respects to the Gadigal, elders past, present and emerging, and extends those respects to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. In the spirit of the Uluru Statement from the Heart, an eloquent, accurate and powerful statement which looks forward to a fuller expression of Australia's nationhood with great dignity, we acknowledge the regrettable reality that this nation's laws and legal systems have so often in the past delivered the opposite of justice to First Nations peoples. To all the newly admitted lawyers here today, welcome to the legal profession. Today, this afternoon, is a day for great celebration. You've all worked extremely hard to get here, countless late nights of study, obscure problem questions, reading wafer-thin pages of textbooks or working your way through them on the screen with more cases than you can hope to remember. And for most of you, your journey has involved 2 extraordinarily challenging final years affected by the pandemic and in which you have been deprived of many of the opportunities for the forging of close bonds with your peers that those final 2 years usually present. You have faced and come through an additional adversity unprecedented in our lifetimes, and that makes your achievements all the more impressive, and the resilience that you have developed will stand you well into the future. It is in a spirit of optimism that I express my sincere hope that you enter the profession at a time when our society is exiting the dreadful impact of the pandemic. In being admitted this afternoon as a lawyer of this court, you join a profession with ancient origins. The custom of advocates swearing an oath on admission to practice dates back to the 12th century. And this court first admitted lawyers in 1824. By 1830, the names of lawyers were entered onto the rolls in this state, as you will do immediately after this ceremony. You have thus now become part of this great tradition, almost 200 years after it began in this place. Perhaps for some of you, or for your family and friends, that is how long it feels like you have been studying. On that note, I'm also pleased to welcome those with you today or watching on the live stream. For many of you, the support of your family and friends will have been invaluable. And no doubt they've also often been on the receiving end of your friendly, if amateur, attempts at cross-examination as you sought to hone your finely polished skills of argument and persuasion. I encourage you to take time to thank all of your friends, family and supporters today. It is a long journey. Depending on how good an advocate you are, you might even convince them to shout you dinner to celebrate the occasion. Or, the more magnanimous of you may shout yourself. The law touches every part of our society, and it can and will lead you all in many different directions and career paths. But in whatever direction you head, you must always remember that the oath or affirmation you have just made is a serious one and deserves solemn regard. Whether you work in private practice, at the bar, in a community legal centre, a Crown Law office, a government department or agency, or an entirely different field, you should be known for your honesty, your integrity, and your commitment to justice, and must strive at all times to uphold these values. Admission as a member of the legal profession in New South Wales is a privilege. It is not a right. It is in acknowledgement of this weighty responsibility that we observe today's unique formalities, including the fact that your admission has been moved by someone who is already a member of the profession, and that you have made a formal oath or affirmation in the presence of your family and peers and of the court. Your family and peers, as are we, the judges, are all witnesses to the promises and undertakings you have made today. As to formality, you will see from the portraits on the walls in this court that we are wearing the same robes, in some cases literally, as have been worn by our predecessors. As symbolically, that highlights the continuity of the rule of law in New South Wales. It is an important symbolism. And in a world in which there is much global uncertainty and insecurity, the rule of law is more important than ever, and not simply a phrase of some theoretical import. It is the opposite of the arbitrary abuse of power and the rule of autocratic dictators and populists. There is nothing theoretical about those threats. Although we mark this occasion with formality and tradition, not everything in the legal profession remains traditional or unchanging. COVID, for example, has meant a rapid shift to increased use of virtual courtroom setups and technology to ensure access to justice continued in the midst of the pandemic. And challenges have arisen in terms of open justice, effective communication, and fairness to participants. But for all the challenges we faced, new opportunities presented themselves, including greater workplace flexibility, which is especially important for lawyers with family responsibilities. Better use of technology also has profound implications for how our legal system interacts with and may become accessible to many people, including those in rural or remote areas, those with a disability, medical conditions, or caring responsibilities. Although the increased use of technology offers a number of advantages, the practice of the law has human nature and human interaction at its core. An essential part of being a good lawyer is understanding people, how others react to different situations, perform under pressure, and deal with each other. As I said in my recent swearing-in speech as Chief Justice, while the remote practice of the law may be possible, it is far from desirable. There are, of course, other changes in the legal profession that deserve attention in addition to those brought about by the pandemic. When we think of the diversity of the legal profession, we encounter a duality. On the one hand, that we have come very far, and on the other hand, that much still needs to be done. For example, although women were originally not even permitted to practice law in New South Wales, since 2018, women have made up more than half of all solicitors in this state with a practicing certificate and currently constitute 2/3 of solicitors under the age of 30. Women also occupy many of the most senior positions in the law, including, of course, the Chief Justice of Australia, the Commonwealth Attorney General, the President of the Court of Appeal, who was formerly the Chief Judge in Equity, and Her Honour's predecessor, but one, was Her Excellency the Honourable Margaret Beazley, ACQC, now Governor of this state. There should not only be gender diversity, but also strong representation of lawyers from many different backgrounds which comprise our cosmopolitan community. Diverse representation amongst solicitors, advocates, and judges assists in ensuring that all people who become involved in our justice system, often involuntarily, can and feel that they can be properly heard and fairly engaged with by a system reflective of our broader community. The admissions ceremonies on which I have sat since becoming a judge just over 3 years ago, including this ceremony, highlight that there is far greater diversity of background amongst junior lawyers than when I commenced practice, and that is, may I say, a very good thing. You, the newly admitted lawyers, are in a unique position as you enter the profession in 2022 at a time more than ever when your words and actions are having an impact for good. You are being heard and taken seriously when you agitate to correct injustices, whether it be speaking out about unfair laws, systemic failings affecting our society's most vulnerable, or unsustainable working cultures, including sexual harassment or bullying. You should speak up for the things that matter and in which you believe. That is in the finest tradition of the legal profession, and you are the future of that profession. May I also encourage you to engage with your communities outside the law. Your training as a lawyer in systematic thought, the importance of matters of principle and fundamental fairness, including due process and natural justice, equip you very well for service beyond day-to-day practice. You will also derive great satisfaction from such engagement within your communities beyond your day-to-day working obligations. Turning from opportunities to obligations and a little bit of friendly advice. As a lawyer, you will often need to make difficult ethical decisions. You must use the tools you have developed to think critically and not compromise on your fundamental duties to the court and to the administration of justice. One mistake you must not make is to give your clients the advice you think they want to hear. That will not be good advice. Justice Gagler, before he went to the High Court, once said, I quote, "You must be prepared to give the same answer to the same question for the same reasons, no matter who asks the question or for what purpose or in what context the asking may occur." Unquote. Unsurprisingly, that is very good advice, as you might expect from such a great judge. Being a lawyer means that you are an advisor, a problem solver, a mediator, and an advocate. As you go about your day-to-day work, remember that you're not merely dealing with the law in a vacuum or as an abstract concept, but the law as it applies to people's lives. An individual in need of your services as a lawyer is in most cases an individual facing some kind of great personal challenge or crisis affecting his or her liberty, property, personal well-being, or health or financial position. For these reasons, you must always strive to deliver legal services sensitively, competently, and fearlessly, but always with courtesy and integrity. In this context, I want to emphasise the importance of civility. Aspects of the law, especially if you're involved in the litigation side of practice, are confrontational. The practice of the law can be stressful and demanding enough without personal animus and antagonism between practitioners adding to the load. It is essential that you maintain your detachment, balance, and good humour, remembering at all times that you are members of a profession and not a business. And remember this, the best advocates can and do make their points simply and succinctly. Often, less is more. Some of the most experienced lawyers and judges, including myself, could also use that reminder from time to time. For a non-lawyer, law is often incomprehensible, and one of your roles as a lawyer will be to make the law accessible to others, sometimes by deciphering legal complexities, other times by deciphering poor legal drafting, and sometimes both. Strive to be clear and concise at all times in both your writing and your speaking. I want to also touch briefly on the subject of failure. There will inevitably be, I'm sure, in this audience, quite a few overachievers and perfectionists. The law tends to attract such types. Even so, at various points of your career, you will make mistakes, some minor, some more serious. We all make mistakes from time to time, especially when we're starting something new. What is important is that you try not to make the same mistake twice. And when you do make mistakes, your commitment to honesty, integrity, and the administration of justice means that you must take responsibility, correct what you can, and learn from your errors. Finally, your physical and mental health are both extremely important. There may, and I dare say will be, times when you feel overwhelmed, burnt out, or distressed. Legal practice can be all-consuming and physically and mentally taxing. That is because, as lawyers, you will become invested in assisting your clients in their difficulties, and that is a good thing. Lawyers are dedicated, hardworking, trying to assist their clients. But it is demanding. It is a demanding profession. You must work hard to keep your balance and keep your eye out to ensure that your colleagues do as well. If you do get overwhelmed by it all, as frankly we all have from time to time, try to take a step back and recapture some perspective, or suggest gently to your colleagues that they should do so too. In this context, I want you all to remember that the law is a highly collegiate profession, and in times of difficulty, the support and friendship of your peers will prove invaluable. You should also not be afraid to seek professional help if needed, and both the Law Society of New South Wales and the Bar Association, the two professional organisations, are fully attuned to the potential stresses of practice and offer strong support to their members. Can I say this to you all in closing? The law is a wonderful profession, stimulating, challenging, and satisfying, and it is populated by intelligent, committed, and dynamic people. You should be proud to be a lawyer and of your achievements to date. You should remain proud to be a lawyer. It is a very important profession, and a legal career is one that can take you in many different directions, all of which are interesting and rewarding. So hold your heads high and the very best of luck on the exciting journey that lies ahead. On behalf of all of the judges of the Supreme Court, Justice Mitchellmore and Justice Stevenson in particular, sitting with me this afternoon, I once again congratulate you on your admission to the profession and welcome you to it. The court will now adjourn.
All stand. This honourable court is now adjourned. God save the Queen.